There are more than 50 and 60, approx 50 and 60 cancer country in the world. You know what I am talking about, cancer country of the world. They have no any innovations about the humanity. They have no any cooperation about the other country. They just produce many of the many, and they generate just like the manufacturing of the omens, and they produce lots of the girls and boys, and spread across the country. They did not think about their standard of life, their future, and their working capacity. They just manufacturing through the girls. I am just talking about the community like Muslim. India have, when India become freedom 1947, okay, the total minority community, where total population have 4%, approx 4 and 5%. But the current situation we have seen 14 and 16% of the minority, like cancer community in India have. And this community is just like spread peace and prosperity through world, okay. But they have no any desire about the humanity cooperation. They just spread the terrorism, they just spread the humanitarian threats, they just spread their community escalations. But they just spread for the different types of cancer throughout the world, because they just think about if they produce more and more boys and girls like the manufacturing, like the secondary sector produce more than many of goods in the market, just like they produce more and more boys and girls in the markets, and they spread the country, a peaceful country, which they spread very drastically, like the garbage of the country, and their culturals which is destroyed, their humanitarian and structural which is destroyed. We have seen most of the example like the Pakistan, like the Bangladesh, Somalia, and many of the Middle East country. They have escalation throughout the world, and tension between each others. But they have no any solution. Whenever they have gone in any country, they just manufacturing lots of the boys and girls without any hesitation. Their only intention to acquire their country, and they spread the Islams there in their country. Like we have seen how Britain is spreading the Islamic country, and their civilian is just facing chaos, because they spread lots of the terrorism, they spread lots of the chaos in the country. So the current British government is just try to threats of this community, because their structurals and their behavior is not properly, because the loss of their culturals, and they spread throughout the country in Britain's. And their country have civilians like protesting against a peaceful community. When you have to think about the cancer community, also Australia is also mandatory for the policy like the cancer community. They just threats for this community, and their population is drastically changing. Demography dividend is also explained. We have seen the best example of Nepal, and their minority community escalation between the humanitarian rights, communal rights, which is happening. Because when they enter in the country, their only one intention about their country, just destroy the culture, and dominant for their religious, like the Islamic country. And they just think about the if they enter in the country, and they just reproduce more and more, and spread Islamic, which have no any intention about the Islam, and spread lots of the chaos. Because whenever you produce lots of the unnecessary goods in the markets, and the demand is not properly, because their intention is not helping for the humanity. We have also seen Indonesia is more than 95% of the Muslim community living in the Indonesia, because they just produce whenever they think about the desirables and favorable. Indonesia is not a Muslim country earlier. They have a Buddhism and Hinduism country, but they enter in the Indonesia. Indonesia is basically they changing the demography, and now after that, Indonesia ranked first for the Muslim community. Japan is also mandatory for a policy, and they trades for the Muslim, because they also chaos in Japan's, and how they have spreading the tyrannism in the in the Japans, because they whenever they enter in the different country, they don't follow the constitution of their country. They just follow the Sharia canons and the spread which is going through, and when they are reading about the books which we have seen how they are spreading in different way. And we have seen in Pakistan some of the data which is revealed when Pakistan divided by India in 1947, 14 August 1947. The majority of population is 70%, and minority population like a Hindu population is 30%. But the current scenario we have seen, minority community have population more than 1%, and majority population is 99%, because they only destroyed the Hindu community. They only changing the religious. They are in Hindu to Muslim community. They threats. They threats, and they destroyed the Hindu community in Pakistan. Also, we have seen how 1971, when Bangladesh is divided by the India, and there have also minority community have more than 25%, and majority community is basically 75%. But the current scenario we have seen, only 2 and 3% of the minority community like Hindus. They just threats for the minority community, and they just spread for the Islamic and chaos for the country, changing for the governmental structurals, political structurals. They have no any behavior for the society. They have just spreading about the chaos, and they don't any and any helpful for the worlds and the neighboring country. Whenever they are enter in any country, they just intention about they produce more and more goods through girls and boys, okay, थ्रू ओमेंस, ओके। देयर ओनली वन इंटेंशन कि जितना से ज़्यादा हो सके उतना ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस कर दो, जितना हो सके उतना प्रोड्यूस कर दो, जो कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं है। दैट्स वाई मेनी ऑफ द कंट्री विच इज़ देयर डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड इज चेंजिंग, एंड नो वन इज initially thinking about it. We have seen India in Kerala, we have seen 1947 have 95% of the minority community, not 95% of the Hindus community, and 2 and 3% of the minority community like a Muslim, and also have 1 and 0.5% of the Christianity. बट नाउ वी हैव सीन्स 40% ऑफ द माइनॉरिटी, एंड जो जो पहले माइनॉरिटी में थे वो मेजोरिटी में चले गए, जो मेजोरिटी में थे वो माइनॉरिटी में चल गए, एंड वी हैव सीन हाउ दे आर डोमिनेंट विच बिकमिंग द पॉलिटिकल्स डोमिनेंट, एंड दे जस्ट चेंजिंग द structurals and culturals behaviors. And different of the country we have seen, so like the America is also imposing them, so they don't enter in their country, and they just stopping about their different policy for the Muslim community. We have seen also for the cancer community. Japan is not entering this type of community which is spreading for the different of chaos, terrorism, and we have seen how the 60 and 65 of the country across the world, which is the second largest community in the world, and they have no any contribution of the world, like the technology, like the pharmaceuticals, like the mobility and different way, but they just spreading chaos like terrorism and different way of the humanitarian deficiency, and they don't need any just cooperation of the world. They just spreading the chaos and the communal rights. So the world is very drastically changing for their this type of behavior, and the world is basically thinking about the way of their structurals and cultural. आई जस्ट से अबाउट, अगर तुम किसी कंट्री में इंटर कर रहे हो तो जस्ट कि उतना ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग क्यों बनाने लगते हो यार? हर कंट्री का अपना एक कल्चर होता है, हर कंट्री के एक अपना सोशल स्ट्रक्चरल होता है, बट तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो, कहीं भी जा रहे हो तो इतना ज़्यादा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर रहे हो कि वहाँ के कल्चर ही ख़त्म हो जा रहा है, तो कोई तुमको भगाएगा नहीं। तुम लोग तो एक तो पहले कि कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट कर ही नहीं रहे हो कोई वर्ल्ड को, तो कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं कर रहे हो। जैसे अभी हाल ही में मोरक्को में हुआ, मोरक्को में 80%, मतलब डैट मीन्स कि 60,000 to 80,000 पीपल्स विच एंट्री इन द स्पेन without any reasons, because they have no any employment opportunity in the Morocco. So why you are producing more and more if you have not any future perspective desire? So don't be produce more and more, because I think Islam is not told you ki produce more and more. Islam is very authentic religions. Everyone respect Islam, but your intention is not for the humanitarian structure. Most of the Islamic country which is helping and uh, contribution of the world, but many of the country which is threatening for the humanity, chaos between peoples to peoples, and just be their transformation of different way and its structure also. Okay.